21 of the best book quotes from German socialist philosopher, the closest collaborator of Karl Marx, Friedrich Engels. Friedrich Engels, born November 28, 1820, Barmen, Rhine province, Prussia, Germany, died August 5, 1895, London, Eng, German socialist philosopher, the closest collaborator of Karl Marx in the foundation of modern communism. They co-authored the Communist Manifesto, 1848, and Engels edited the second and third volumes of Das Kapital after Marx's death. The need of a constantly expanding market for its products chases the bourgeoisie over the whole surface of the globe. It must nestle everywhere, settle everywhere, establish connections everywhere. Nothing is easier than to give Christian asceticism a socialist tinge. Has not Christianity declaimed against private property, against marriage, against the state? Has it not preached in the place of these, charity and poverty, celibacy and mortification of the flesh, monastic life and mother church? Christian socialism is but the holy water with which the priest consecrates the heart-burnings of the aristocrat. Let the ruling classes tremble at a communistic revolution. The proletarians have nothing to lose but their chains. They have a world to win. The bourgeoisie has torn away from the family its sentimental veil, and has reduced the family relation to a mere money relation. The state is nothing but an instrument of oppression of one class by another, no less so in a democratic republic than in a monarchy. The distinguishing feature of communism is not the abolition of property generally, but the abolition of bourgeois property. The theory of the communists may be summed up in the single sentence, abolition of private property. The communists disdain to conceal their views and aims. They openly declare that their ends can be attained only by the forcible overthrow of all existing social conditions. Society as a whole is more and more splitting up into two great hostile camps, into two great classes, directly facing each other, bourgeoisie and proletariat. In proportion as the exploitation of one individual by another is put an end to, the exploitation of one nation by another will also be put an end to. In proportion as the antagonism between classes within the nation vanishes, the hostility of one nation to another will come to an end. Do you charge us with wanting to stop the exploitation of children by their parents? To this crime we plead guilty. The communist revolution is the most radical rupture with traditional property relations. No wonder that its development involves the most radical rupture with traditional ideas. The bourgeoisie cannot exist without constantly revolutionizing the instruments of production, and thereby the relations of production, and with them the whole relations of society.
The immediate aim of the communist is the same as that of all the other proletarian parties: formation of the proletariat into a class, overthrow of the bourgeois supremacy, conquest of political power by the proletariat. The communists are distinguished from the other working-class parties by this only: 1. In the national struggles of the proletarians of the different countries, they point out and bring to the front the common interests of the entire proletariat, independently of all nationality. 2. In the various stages of development which the struggle of the working class against the bourgeoisie has to pass through, they always and everywhere represent the interests of the movement as a whole.
The history of all hitherto existing societies is the history of class struggles.
Communism deprives no man of the power to appropriate the products of society. All that it does is to deprive him of the power to subjugate the labor of others by means of such appropriation. And your education, is not that also social, and determined by the social conditions under which you educate, by the intervention, direct or indirect, of society, by means of schools, etc.? The communists have not invented the intervention of society in education, they do but seek to alter the character of that intervention, and to rescue education from the influence of the ruling class. The communists fight for the attainment of the immediate aims, for the enforcement of the momentary interests of the working class, but in the movement of the present, they also represent and take care of the future of that movement. Does it require deep intuition to comprehend that man's ideas, views and conceptions, in one word, man's consciousness, changes with every change in the conditions of his material existence, in his social relations and in his social life? All history has been a history of class struggles, of struggles between exploited and exploiting, between dominated and dominating classes at various stages of social development. Who was Friedrich Engels? Friedrich Engels was a German philosopher, writer, and social scientist during the 19th century. Known for his collaboration with Karl Marx, Friedrich Engels helped define modern communism. Friedrich Engels is the co-author of the Communist Manifesto, an 1848 pamphlet regarded as one of the world's most influential political documents. Engels died on August 5, 1895, in London, England.